Blackjack, ho. That's right. That's right. Shout out to my
A
car.
lot of these black guys today, these gangster type guys, they all got names like that they make up for themselves.
Is that true?
Sure. He means like the rappers. You know, the rappers. They all got names like that. Snoop Doggy Dogg, Ice Cube, Q-Tip, Method Man.
I don't know anything about that. But it makes me think about Indians.
You know, I think you're not supposed to say Indian either.
No way, really?
Yeah. I think you're supposed to call them African Americans. African Americans.
African Americans?
It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you.
You big dummy. You's a real naga, throw a feather up. Tribe up, my naga, put your bows and arrows up. The stronghold of the naga ain't they scared of us. They try to dumb a naga down, but we leveled up. Yeah. Strictly for my nagas.
Africa. I remember when they were marching, people started screaming in the suburbs, back to Africa with them. Back to dummy. Back to Africa with who? Shit, I ain't never been to Africa. Don't send me home, send me to St. Louis, Missouri. You big dummy. 4461 in right, top floor. Africa, what the hell I look like? Standing in the jungle with a $750 mohair suit and some alligator shoes. Shit. That's not hunting garb. I'm here all the way.
Great day. Welcome to the House of Masculinity. I'm Blackjack. It's Thursday, April 27, 2023. And we're gonna have a little conversation, y'all. We're gonna have a little conversation about John Horse. Salute. How many of y'all know about John Horse? Hey, first off, salute to Jackie Salah. Jackie Salah in the chat, she got that wrench. Man, if y'all come here playing around, I got soldiers like Jackie Salah. They going inside your head with that wrench, man. Don't get blocked talking crazy. Salute. You a $5 Indian, hit that dislike. That's the best you can do. Don't get in this chat talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? I got my moderators gonna hit your ass upside the head with that wrench.
You big dummy.
Biatch.
Sit your $5 ass down
Salute.
before I make change.
Salute to Jovan Smith G in the house. Salute. We tribing up over here. We about to have a conversation about John Horse, the real John Horse. Not the hijack John Horse, the real hot John Horse. Salute. I know a lot of y'all done heard about John Horse. Some of y'all might not. You know what I'm saying? But John Horse was a similar Indian. You know what I'm saying? And that's him on the thumbnail we got, you know what I'm saying, that we had in the intro. We had that picture of John Horse, and I'm gonna go back to it to refresh your memory. Now let me take that off the screen first. My computer ad right, y'all. They want to hijack me. There we go. We got John Horse on deck. Salute. John Horse standing there with his bow and arrows and his feathered headdress and his Seminole garb. Yeah, Seminole Negro. Salute. Bows up, arrows up, feathers up. You know what I'm saying? Salute John Horse. You know what I'm saying? AKA Juan Caballo. You know, John Horse had a couple different names. Well, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. John Horse, the Seminole warrior. Salute. Yeah, John Horse, Seminole warrior. If you Google John Horse, man, you're going to get hijacked. That's what's so crazy about it. You Google John Horse. John Horse is documented as a Seminole.
Au bon sauvage. Au négré l'Amérique. Et l'Amérique négrée.
That's what he documented as a Seminole. You know what I'm saying? And l'Amérique négrée. You know what I'm saying? But if you Google him, man, you might come up with all kind of hijack.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
They got all kind of fake red men talking about this to John Horse. I said, what is this? So I said, you know what? Let me go and talk about the real John Horse. You know what I'm saying? They got the hijack. The hijack trying to take over all our history, trying to claim to be us. And you know, enough is enough, man. It's time to call them out once again And I'm Blackjack, by the way. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, you know what I'm saying? Share the video with every nigga you know. You know what I'm saying? If you want to support monetarily, we got the Cash App at the top of the screen. Cash.app/$ House of Masculinity. Or you can hit us on that PayPal, or you can go to our merchandise site, www.strictlyformynagas.com. You can get some of that fly gear we got on deck. So we about to get into it. We're talking John Horse, y'all. So look, we're gonna get into it right away. We like to read over here, you know what I'm saying? We like to read real knowledge, real books, you know what I'm saying? Real thorough, you know what I'm saying, primary sources. We don't read the Floyd Mayweather book for dummies. Salute.
You big dummy.
We ain't over here talking about we don't like no records like Sarah Sue.
You big dummy.
Nah, we over here digging up on receipts, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? We digging up on the receipts. If you ain't got no receipts, you ain't got nothing. You ain't get no return on that, Jake. You can take it back home with you. Salute.
Biatch.
So we're gonna dig on these receipts on John Horse, and we're gonna dabble in hijacking all. We're gonna dabble in all that, because you gotta read the deception if you want to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? You can't go for no third eye mind tricks. You know what I'm saying? Always gotta keep that third eye open. And, you know, you gotta read through the hijack. But any naga, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into John Horse, y'all. Salute. Hit the like though. Subscribe to the channel. Show a naga some love. We talk this John Horse. And here we go. We on Wikipedia. John Horse. 1812, circa 1812 to 1882. John Horse. They say he lived to be 70 years old. Also known as Juan Caballo. Juan Caballo. Like John is Juan. Juan and John is the same thing. Just like Juan, John, Eon. Eon, you ever heard somebody named Eon? Eon is just is just another formative of John, another formative of Juan. I-A-N. Eon. Some people might even pronounce it Ian, but it's Eon. Eon, John, Juan. It's all the same. John Coelho, with spelling variations, and Go for John was a man. Now here we go. The hijack right away. They know he a naga. They know he dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? They know he Albon Savage.
Au bon sauvage. Au Négré l'Amérique.
They know he's that, so they want to call him African. You know what I'm saying? So they want to hijack him right on top, call him African, because he's
Et l'Amérique Négré.
Well, we know the l'Amérique Négré is a real American Indian. We know that. Salute. We know he ain't got no African heritage. They found John Horse over here with his feather headdress, with his bow and arrow, and now they want to call him some kind of African mix. But we're going to dig on real history. We're going to dodge that. But he was a Seminole. He was a full-blooded Seminole. He wasn't mixed with anything. Full-blooded Seminole Indian who fought alongside. Not fought alongside. How he fought alongside when he was a warrior chief.
You big dummy.
Salute. Yeah, John Horse ain't fought alongside nobody. John Horse was at the front line. You know what I'm saying? Leading the battle. Salute. Some of the chief, my naga. Warrior chief. We're gonna dodge all these hijacks. He fought with his Seminole compadres. He fought with his tribe in the Second Seminole War in Florida. Salute to my Florida Nagas. That's my hometown. Salute to all my Florida Nagas. You know, the home of the Seminole Indians, home of Creek Muskogee Indians, home of Timucua Indians, home of all kind of Nagas. You know what I'm saying? Salute. He rose to prominence in the third year of what was to become a 7-year war, when the first generation of so-called black Seminoles, what you talking about? What you mean, blacks, or Seminoles, or Nagas? You saying the same thing? Shemite, Seminole, black, Seminole. It's all the same. Leaders was largely decimated, and the primary Seminole war chief, Osceola, fell into the hands of the American military commander, General Thomas Sidney Jessup. Yeah, they called Osceola. And they took Osceola down there to salute to teaching 777 in the house. Salute the task code, the CEO in the house. Tribe up, salute. And they took Osceola out there to Castillo de San Marco, aka Fort Marion. Yeah, I was down there recently. I had my drone in the shooting some footage of the fort, the Star Fort in St. Augustine, Florida. Shout out to all my St. Augustine Nagas in the 904. Salute. Yeah, I took something. I went inside. I got footage I still need to upload of Castillo de San Marco, where they took Osceola and they took John Horse, and John Horse escaped. Salute. John Horse got up out of there. Early life and education. John Horse, called Juan as a child, was born around 1812 in Florida. He was a Seminole slave. They always want to call the Naga slave. Okay, we'll run with that. You want to call the Naga slave? Well, where did the Indians get their slaves from? They didn't get them from Africa. They got them from warring with other tribes. So that make them an Indian either way you look at it, you big dummy.
You big dummy.
Salute. Play your hand. We can play chess. This ain't checkers. You want to play spades? We got the big joker. You call him a slave, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. They didn't get their slaves from no Indian tribe got a slave from Africa. They got their slaves from other Indian tribes that they warred with. So if you call him a Seminole slave, you just call him what he was, a Creek Indian that got enslaved by the Seminole. What you want to call him? And so-called African descent. Just saying he black, so-called black, saying he's a blackamoor, saying he's a
Au bon sauvage. Au Négré l'Amérique.
saying he's a Nigre Lahamadi, not African. He lived initially in the region that came to be called Mechanipi. After the last head chief of the Florida Seminole in north central Florida, John, assumed the surname of his father and nominal owner, the Seminole trader Charlie Cavallo. His father and nominal owner. So he was a slave to his father.
You big dummy.
See that? You see how Jack want to slide one in on you real quick? They hit you with all that African this, call him a slave. Then they get right down here and told you John assumed the surname, the last name of his father, not a slave name. This is his father's name, and his nominal owner. Of course, his daddy is owner. My daddy owned me. The Seminole trader Charlie Cavallo, father of John Horse. His surname Horse, being believed to have been a translation of Cavallo or Caballo, the Spanish word for horse. His father's name was Charlie Horse. He got a Charlie Horse Monaga, salute. He got Charlie Horse Monaga. Who else on the earth be talking about Charlie horses besides American Nagas? When you wake up in the morning and you got that little ache in your muscle and you want to make a tussle, you say, oh, I got a Charlie horse. Now you know where it come from, Monaga. Salute. It come from your ancestors. Ain't nobody else talking about no Charlie horse. Now they want to say his mother was likely of pure African descent, a slave acquired by Charlie Cavallo, boy. Boy, we know that's BS.
You big dummy.
His mother was an Indian Naga. Charlie was himself of possibly mixed descent. Indian and Spanish, yeah. The young John also had his sister, Juana. Sometimes spelled Juana or Juana in some sources. I got an older sister, y'all. My older sister name, see that when I read the story, it touched home. My older sister name is Wanza. Wonza. Hey, I love you, Wanza. My sister, her name Wanza Sabrina. Middle name Sabrina. First name Wanza. You know what I'm saying? When I saw this Juana, I was like, God dang. But you know, any Naga, that's Naga here nor there. Not much is known about Charlie. They don't know much about Charlie, but now they talking about he come from Africa and his wife came from Africa. Although it does not appear that he treated either of his two mixed race children as slaves. So how you gonna call him his owner, call his children slaves, and now you say it don't appear he treat them as slaves? You know, they got all this hijack, all this truth and a lie blended in together to throw a Naga off, to give you that 180 and point you to Africa, a place you never been, my Naga, a place your ancestors never been. When God said, let there be darkness, he dropped the Naga in the American dirt. Salute.
Biatch.
You big dummy.
When God said, let there be darkness, he said, let there be the...
Au bon sauvage. Au Négré l'Amérique.
He said, let there be darkness.
Et l'Amérique négrée.
He said, darkness. Salute. You get the picture, my Naga? The War of 1812 broke out between the United States and Great Britain in the year John Horse is thought to have been born. At that time, he and Juana were probably living with their mother in one of the black settlements. Of course, the Indians are always in the black settlements, just like Red Fox's grandmother. Because the Indian is the Indian settlement is the black settlement. You ain't fooling us with your double talk, with your legalese, with your black slaw. and under the jurisdiction of the Alachua band. Okay, so listen now. They say now Charlie was a Seminole. Charlie Horse was a Seminole. His daddy, John Horse's daddy, was a Seminole. Well, read this. They just told you his mama was possibly an African. But read this. At that time, John and his sister Juana were probably living with their mother in one of the black settlements affiliated with and under the jurisdiction of the Alachua band of the Oconee Seminoles. So how she was an African, my Naga? Salute.
You big dummy.
We will take our time, one Naga at a time, and we will break these lies down slow. Cause we like to read records. Like I say, we ain't go to school with Floyd Mayweather and Sarah Suit and Sudden. We ain't go to school with them dudes. We went to we went to public school and got some bullshit education. We saw higher learning over here. We continue education on our own. Salute. We not scared to read. You can't put nothing in the book and hide it from me. They always talking about if you want to hide something for Sarah Sue, put it in the book. If you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book. Right? You ain't gonna get me like that. His mother was a Oconee Seminole along the Suwannee River. And salute all my niggas along the Suwannee River. Not that far away from home. Home sweet home. Down the Suwannee River. When the American General Andrew Jackson invaded the area, that son of a bitch, he scattered the tribal peoples and their black allies. The black allies, they are the tribe. Dodged the hijack. Salute Managa Kudimayo in the region, destroying settlements and seizing the black Indians seizing the black Seminoles from among the Seminoles, the Seminoles, for removal to the north to be returned. Where, to Africa where they never been? To a plantation where they never been? John was probably displaced with his family. He was displaced from his family, y'all, by these actions since he first enters the historical record some years later as a young adolescent in the Tampa area. They done moved the Naga from home. They got him in Tampa. He don't know where he at. They told him he from Africa.
You big dummy.
Real history, y'all. This ain't no $5 hijack. This ain't no fake
Go $5
red man.
ass down
This
before
ain't
I
no
make
fake
change.
noble savage over here. John Horse spent his formative years among the Oconee Seminole, living like all the other Indian brothers, living to hunt and fish and developing tracking skills. He also became proficient with bow and arrow. He became proficient with his bow and arrow, y'all. You know, the eager Indian with dart and bow with eager eye for his woodland foe, salute. The Negro archer, salute. The Negro archer, y'all remember? He became proficient with that dart and bow and with that pistol, with that rifle, developing a reputation in later life as a keen marksman. He'll smoke you with his steady hand in combat and he'll knock you out. Unlike he'll not, they say John Horse had a steady hand in combat. Y'all feel me? Salute.
You big
Don't
dummy.
run up on no John Horse. You might get knocked out, and he might bust a cap in your ass.
Shut up. Why bust a cap up in your ass?
Ooh, that was a bad boy. Unlike many of his fellows, however, he also learned to read and write. My Naga, I knew that was my Naga. I knew he ain't go to school with Floyd Mayweather's Book of Dummies. He ain't go over there with Sarah Suit and Booty Scratcher. John Horse liked to read and write. You know what I'm saying? Man, this Naga got a lot in common. God damn, that's my Naga. Florida Naga. Ain't that something, y'all? He like to read and write. I like that. Hey, they say not only hunt, he had a steady hand in combat, he liked to read and write, and he acquired linguistic skills in English, Spanish, and the Hittite tongue spoken by the Oka. That Naga was quadrilingual, and many other Seminole bands. We can presume that he was also conversing with Muskogee. You know Muskogee like Silas Jefferson or Silas McNack, Jeffrey's McNack's son. Silas, the son of Jeffrey, Jeffrey's son, Silas Jefferson, the head chief of the Muskogee Creek Indians.
You big dummy.
Salute. You mean like that, Muskogee? Ah, dang, that dude knew a lot of. This dude was brilliant. This dude was a genius. The tongue of the Upper Creek Indians, from whom the great Seminole war chief Osceola hailed, because in his adult years he would be one of Osceola's main translators when dealing with the Americans. how they Americans? You mean the foreigners? You mean the Europeans, the invaders? The Osceola himself spoke some English. He mean talking about to the invaders, to the colonizers, talking about calling them Americans. They ain't no real American. The Tamarican is the copper color race found here by the colonizers. Nothing else. Salute.
Biatch.
Big dummy.
I don't care what Webster say. The first Seminole War, 1817 to 1818, occurred during Horse's childhood, and the youngster, along with his sister and mother, were probably amongst those displaced blacks, right? Yeah, we just read about it, living in the settlement of the Oconee Seminoles. Yeah, all those displaced Seminoles who fled south of the Swanee River. Oh, yeah, near Tampa. Shout out all my Tampa Nagas, salute. There, young John grew in adolescence and came into contact with American soldiers who had established an outpost, Fort Brooke, in the region with the formal annexation of Florida after the success of Jackson's incursions. John Horse first enters the written record in a short narrative by the officers in charge. Major George M. Brooke, who discovered the young Seminole black, had been swindling his personal cook by selling him the same land turtle or tortoise, a so-called gopher. A gopher turtle, salute. I had a pet gopher turtle when I was a kid, y'all. The gopher turtle is indigenous to Florida, Monaco. We got a lot of. They was on the threatened species, but near the beach, they live near the beach area. I know all about the gopher turtle. I was a little nerd. I was a little gangster nerd when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I was a nerd, but don't call me that. You know, I swing on your ass, you big time.
Shut up! Well, bust your cap up in your ass.
But I used to have a gopher turtle. You know what I'm saying? I named him Mr. T, y'all. Salute to Mr. T, my pet gopher turtle. I was like 8 years old, Monaco. You know what I'm saying? Hey, multiple times for the major's personal mess. Discovering the young boy's fraud. Bro, he was finessing them. You know what I'm saying? John Horse was finessing that big thing. He say, man, I say the same gopher turtle over and over again. Brooke opted for leniency and let John go on condition that he make good on the missing turtles, which he apparently did. This began a lifelong relationship between John Horse and the American military and vouchsafed him his nickname in later life, Gopher John. Salute. Now you know how Gopher John got his nickname. Salute, Gopher John, y'all. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel. Salute to all my Nagas in the house, y'all. Salute to all my Nagas. We in the stronghold of the Nagas. Don't forget that. The true stronghold of the Nagas, the Americans, the Tamaricans. Salute. The promised land, y'all. Hey, he would go on to fight against the American army. He said, I gotta fight these jokers. They on my land. He say on the side of his fellow Seminoles, and eventually to work with the so-called Americans, the colonizers, during the Second Seminole War of 1835 to 1842, which began when American settlers pressured for Indian removal to free up the lands for white settlement. They said, y'all got to get y'all ass on to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Go ahead and start y'all to Black Wall Street or something. Go to Indian Territory. Go on up there and Tulsa and get y'all ass up out of here. John Horse served as what would be called today a field officer on the Indian side. At first, a translator for the Indian leaders. Since few of them spoke English, you know what I'm saying? Now they say the black allies did. No, he is the ally. They just told you he was a war leader. He also became a lower level war chief. Now they want to call him lower level. They want to call the Naga lower level when the Naga is the head. Like Silas Jefferson. Because of his facility with languages and quickness of mind. So John Horse whooping ass, quick with the pistol and the bow and arrow, and he's speaking about 5 or 6 or 7 languages, and you telling me he a Lord Chief? Yeah, right. You ain't fooling me.
You big dummy.
He had quickness of mind. He got quickness of mind like Blackjack. You ain't gonna fool. You ain't gonna put nothing past the third eye. You ain't gonna put no third eye mind trick on John Horse, you big dummy.
You big dummy.
Is you stupid? John Horse eventually found himself in the midst of the Seminoles' negotiation with the U.S. Army. So he in the midst of negotiation with the Army, you gonna talk about he a Lord Chief? Yeah, right. As the war dragged on, it sounded like he the head Naga in charge. An open battle in the field gave way to guerrilla tactics and a long war of attrition. In the spring of 1838, after several pitched battles, Horse finally decided to fight against the colonizers was unwinnable and surrendered to U.S. troops. This may have been prompted by the loss of his first wife, a Seminole woman. See, a Seminole woman, not an African, said to have been a daughter of Chief Holatachi. Chief Chief Olatuche. Chief Olatuche. Chief, that's an Olatuche. Chief Olatuche. A brother or nephew of the Chief Mechanic. The blacks in the war, the Seminoles, received promises of freedom if they would cease fighting and accepted resettlement in the newly established Indian Territory. Look at that. Look at that. The blacks in the war received promises of freedom if they would cease fighting and accept resettlement in the newly established Indian Territory west of Mississippi. Why didn't they settle them in Africa if that's where they was from?
You big dummy.
Because they not.
Biatch.
They're Indians. Horse was later granted papers freeing him a second time by General William J. Worth for the services he subsequently rendered to the U.S. Army in the latter days of the Second Seminole War in Florida as both translator and scout. But his initial decision to give up fighting had been in response to the offer of a prior general, Thomas Seton Jessup, who had made the first promise of general freedom to all the Seminole slaves and their children willing to surrender and accept removal. Thus, John Horse's claims to freedom from slavery will rest on at least two legal claims via decisions by two different colonizer military officers. This would eventually be important as events unfolded a few years later in the West. Unfortunately, Horse's second wife and their children, who were removed to Indian Territory with him, did not gain freedom. Why? Because they was black.
Au bon sauvage. Au nègre l'Amérique négrée.
Yeah, they ain't getting no freedom, y'all. Though his later service and had only the earlier declaration by Jessup to fall back on, thus remaining at risk from the increasingly aggressive activities of slave catchers in the new Indian Territory. Slave catchers in the Indian Territory, I thought the slave catchers went into Africa.
You big dummy.
No, they all up in Indian Territory. Salute the one general in the house. Salute one general in the house. Stronghold of the Naga. A1 Day 1. Salute. We got 12 little Nagas watching. We gotta have 12 little lights. We gotta have 6 lights and 6 dislikes. If we got a few pretendians watching, because I know they be eavesdropping, we got 9 lights. Oh, we got salute. We in the stronghold of the Naga look like. We got more likes than dislikes, of course. So the slave catchers looking for blacks in Indian Territory. Ain't that interesting, y'all? With other Seminoles, Horse was shipped. Look, who got shipped? Seminoles got shipped. Who got shipped? Not where they got shipped from. Not from Africa. From Florida. They shipped the Negroes from Florida. Where they shipped them at? Across the Gulf of Mexico, from Tampa Bay to New Orleans. Salute to my New Orleans Nagas. We got family out there. Salute. Yeah, man. It's real history, y'all. It can be depressing, but we gotta shine through it, y'all. And north from where from New Orleans and north from there by way of the Mississippi to Indian Territory, Oklahoma, y'all, Tulsa. There they can't hold the Naga down. They sent the Naga to Tulsa, and Tulsa they blew the Naga got his money right, so they had to blow Tulsa up. Salute.
You big dummy.
They telling you who was there, Indians. There he and his family joined with other Seminoles who had accepted removal to take up residence at one or two locations assigned to the Seminoles inside the creek area. The Muskogee Creek. Horse quickly rose as a leader among the Seminoles because of his friendly relations with the colonizer, his experience as a leader in the fighting, his linguistic skills, and his decisive cleverness. Hey, that Naga was slick. That Naga say, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna play these colonizers. I'm gonna fake like I'm cool with them, and then we gonna do them in. Salute. Life in Indian Territory. We're gonna jump back to this, but let's look at John Horse's grandson. This John, the great grandson of Charlie Horse, John Horse's grandson, John Jefferson Jr. John Horse. I'm saying, can y'all see that? John Jefferson, John Horse's grandson. We're gonna click on that just to make it clear. We talking Seminoles, we talking war chiefs, we talking John Horse, we talking Charlie Horse, we talking about John Horse the third. We just want to make clear who we talking about, Monaga. If y'all ain't know, now you know. Talking about the American Naga. We talking about you the whole time, Naga. Yeah, the Indian. Yeah, John Horse. Yeah, the grandson of John Horse. Yeah. Salute, Naga. Salute. Stronghold in the Nagas. We gonna let them $5 fakers play us.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Now who think you, nigga?
We ain't playing with
Say
it.
another
We's not playing no
motherfucking
game.
word, and this shit is over.
We approaching that
And I
history.
ain't
We approaching
playing,
history with receipts and facts and records. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with the real deal, nothing fake. Nothing fake. Always the real deal and only the real deal, Monaga. Hey, I'm Blackjack. This the house of masculinity. Respect my house. Or we'll let the doorknob hit your ass with the most house split your ass. And we out. Peace. Salute. Tribe up. Peace.